Wild card week, guys. If you are a football card investor, collector, if you're anything to do with football cards or fantasy football, like underdog fantasy, where you can do live betting on pick'ems, over unders on player prop bets, or fantasy best ball, then you are excited right now because the hype for so many players is so high. The hype for these teams is incredibly high. So I'm joined, as always, for some card dog action. My man here, Steve, the Hitman Scaladesi.
What's up, Andy? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. This week has been a busy week of listing cards for sale. I've actually sold more cards this week on eBay than I have in the last couple months. So I see prices going up for a lot of players. But I also feel you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show, and I'm excited to dig into it because we feel that there may still be some market inefficiencies, some players that if they pull off the improbable this weekend, that their values could go up big time.
Oh, definitely. And any given Sunday, it would be easy to just say, yeah, of course Tampa's going to win, or yeah, of course KC's going to win. But that's not ever a thing. That doesn't ever happen in football. There's no guarantees. Vegas would be out of business if there was guarantees.
They Vegas would be out of business if there was guarantees. So would underdog fantasy, guys. So we're going to get in some live betting. We're going to talk about playoff best ball. We're going to talk about some plays we're making right now in the playoffs, some market inefficiencies. We're also going to go on some auction hunts tonight, guys, because I know Steve, he's got a big watch list. I got a big watch list. There's certain things we are looking for right now. So let's go ahead and dig in. Should we dig in? We got some new stuff going on tonight.
Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. See, that was your cue, Steve. You're supposed to hit that.
Boom.
All right.
There. That was perfect.
So, if you guys watch the intro, what is so fascinating about this playoffs is the seeding, Steve. So, looking at the bracket, I'm going to pull up the bracket here because I find it very interesting. You got the Titans and the Packers with that first round bye, but they're the only teams with a first round bye. They're just sitting there. What have you noticed this week in terms of value increases, the hype that you're seeing around some of these guys on the Titans and Packers? What do you think we should be doing with those guys?
I've definitely seen a lot of hits or offers on Titans cards that have kind of laid dormant all season. And in regards to the Packers, I mean, like guys like MVS or Alan Lazard, like outside of the one or two big weeks they had, you could have got their cards relatively cheap early in the year. And if you look now, the average auction price is way up on these guys. So, not to say that you can't find deals, but this is the time to sell those guys if you have them. Now, they do have an extra week buffer where they're not playing this week. So you do have a little bit of extra time if you want to list them, but the playoffs can come and go really quickly. So, get your guys, get the cards you want to sell that you have Titans, Packers, or any playoff team for that matter, and get them listed ASAP.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's even more important for the guys this week, and especially guys that are not favored to win. Like I have noticed a significant price increase in Jalen Hurts rookie cards last week and this week, ever since he played in week 17. And what's very interesting, Steve, is that the top seed plays the bottom seed. So you see here the Bucs are the number 2 seed and they're playing the Eagles. So if the Bucs win and the Cowboys win, because their Cowboys are favored over the 49ers, Then you have the Rams and Cardinals on Monday night. It is likely that the bottom seed, so if the Bucks win and the Cowboys win, they would be higher seeds than both the Rams and the Cardinals. That means that either the Rams or the Cardinals go to Green Bay. And what's interesting, they play on Monday night. That's a short week, Steve. That means a minimal rest after a high octane, like super action packed Monday night game. You're putting it all out on the line to win. And then you go to Green Bay, the frozen tundra, on a short week. It's like, I mean, this is going to be, if the 49ers or the Eagles don't upset, the Packers have a very favorable match against either the Rams or the Cardinals, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Steve?
I came across an interesting stat on that, and it used to be that if a team went to Green Bay, their odds of winning were next to none. But over the past 3 seasons, I believe, the Green Bay's winning percentage has actually gone down quite a bit at home in the playoffs. And that's not necessarily to say that that'll happen this year, but I do think that, their skill position players outside of Devontae Adams, like they don't really have a deep receiving core. They don't have an incredible tight end like they used to. But the one thing they do have is cold weather. And in my opinion, if they're playing a team like the Rams or the Cardinals that are dome teams, the colder it is, the more favorable the matchup's going to be for Green Bay.
No doubt. No doubt. They'll be ready for it. They'll be prepared. And then on the other side, Titans. So the Chiefs, let's say, I don't know if you saw this tweet from Ben Roethlisberger earlier in the week. Maybe did in the Discord. Raven shared it. And it was just crazy. Like Big Ben was saying, we're not that good. We're probably the worst team in the playoffs. And we really don't it's like barely basically saying like we're going to lose. I mean, it was pretty bad. Like if you're a leader on your team, in my opinion, I don't think you should be talking like that at all. It seemed that Najee Harris was a little bent out of shape about that. But if the Steelers lose, which it looks like that's what the odds are right now, Chiefs win. And what are you feeling about this Bills-Patriots game? Because I get mixed opinions from people on this Bills-Patriots game right here.
I wanted to touch on the Steelers Roethlisberger comment real quick.
Yeah.
The guy's been around a long time. I mean, I think that this is just some reverse psychology, honestly. You need every advantage you have going into this game, knowing that you are a major underdog and you're at the end of your career and Mahomes is still kind of like in the beginning, middle. You need every advantage. And if you've followed sports for a long time, like I have, a lot of times teams that are major favorites just choke against teams they're expected to blow out because you don't go into it with the same preparation. You don't go into it with the same attitude. But if you are an underdog and you have an uphill climb, you train like Rocky Balboa and, you beat up cow meat in a freezer somewhere and you run up the mountains in Siberia, because you want to win. And I'm not saying that that's 100% the case, but I do think it's just a classic old-fashioned psych out, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So, hey, that happened Cleveland last year at Pittsburgh. It happened to Pittsburgh with Cleveland in a lot of ways. So, that's wild, man. That would be an absolute shocking upset there. Probably the biggest upset on the week besides if the Eagles were to beat Tampa. Or even 49ers beating the Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys right now, they should they should be pretty big favorites to win that game. Bills Patriots, third time they play this year.
I think that especially it being in Buffalo, I think that it's going to be a struggle for the Patriots. Unless of course it's like 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and they have to run the ball 70 times again. So unless that happens, I think the Bills are going to cruise through this one.
the Bills cruise through it. I agree. I think the Bills are going to win this one too, especially after the momentum, the confidence that they built. I heard some people say, well, Bill Belichick is going to, do a little reverse psychology of his own, getting Josh Allen's head over there, getting the Bills' head. But I don't know, man. I'm feeling the Bills in this one as well. What about the Bengals and the Raiders, man? Joe Burrow has been coming off two of the best games in his life since he's been in the NFL, and now they're hosting the Raiders, coming off of that overtime finish. Man, Justin Herbert, my God, dude, is that kid good? I definitely think we should look at some Justin Herbert rookie cards, see what they're doing now. Now that they're out, because that game was just insane. And how many fourth downs did Justin Herbert convert in that game? It was like 8 fourth downs, and a couple of them were 4th and 20s. I mean,
I talked to someone yesterday, and they said to me they thought that Oakland should have just let the game end since they were going to make the playoffs anyway. But I don't like that. This is a professional league. You play to win every single game. And do I think that would it have been nice for the Chargers to be in? Absolutely. Do I think Herbert deserved to advance? I do. But that's just not how the game works, And with the Bengals and Raiders, I do think it'll be a little bit close, but I definitely have the Bengals on this one. I think that they're might be my dark horse team in the playoffs this year.
the Bengals, huh? I like the Bengals in the playoffs. I have this weird belief in Joe Burrow, man. I think he's gonna be able to make lead that team to a deep run, man. So, and his card prices are insane. I mean, they're still selling astronomically high for certain very rare cards. Certainly, if you look at all of his sold listings for the last 90 days compared to that of Jalen Hurts, I found he's about 5 times higher. And what I wanted to look at was, I was looking at this one. It was like, dude, field level 2 out of 5. Best offer accepted from $25,000. Just a really pretty card, and it's not even color matched, but it's super rare. PSA 10.
That's a beauty. Yeah, I gotta say I'm on the fence. Having bought so many Burrows early in the year, I will definitely be selling some of them, but I don't know. I'm willing to roll the dice a little bit on some of them, like my field level silver and a couple other graded ones that I have, and just hang on to them.
Yeah, I definitely dig that. I mean, they got a lot of time left in the NFL overtime. I mean, there's going to be plenty of hyped up moments again in his career like this, where it'll be potentially even better times to sell. As the hobby grows, new products are released, new rookie classes come into the league. This one, no back picture here, but doesn't look silver to me. It looks like a false silver here. What do
Yeah,
you
that looks
think?
like a base field
Yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah,
I
and
see
no
I do
bad
see that
back
quite a
picture.
bit, honestly, when
Mm.
I'm card hunting. I see a lot of prisms and select field levels get mislabeled as silvers when they're just base cards. So, and I'm sure most listeners know, but for those that don't, you can see Andy's mousing over a card right there. It should have that shimmer to it. Silver does not denote the color of the card. Silver is that prism shimmer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can see it. You can see it in all these other pictures. That one, you could not, and nor could you see a picture of the back of the card. So that tells you that seller is up to something shady. Yeah, man. Why? Oh, you know why? Because I've got it sorted here.
What's
That's
a
why.
Burrow Kaboom going for?
A Burrow Kaboom. Oof. Let's compare
I did
Kabooms.
look up a couple
Love it.
Kabooms last night, but I didn't look up any Burrows.
2020 Kaboom, Joe Burrow. There we go. That's a cool looking card too, bro.
Man, look at that. And it's a rookie.
Yeah, rookie. Kaboom. I like he's kind of like jumping to one side, throwing the ball. BGS 9.5, 5,600. All right, 2020 Kaboom, Jalen Hurts.
That's unbelievable.
It's
I did look
PSA
at
9.
that downtown, not that specific card, but the Hertz one last night. I was looking at that.
You see what's interesting here? People are gambling. They're seeing the opportunity. They're comping Jalen to Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and they're like, this dude's in the playoffs. This could be my shot. Like, I'm gonna roll the dice. If I'm right, then do you think that? All right, say the Philadelphia Eagles lose, which I do sincerely hope they do. Go Bucks! But if you think that they lose, however, Jalen Hurts plays good, and it's just one of those iconic Tom Brady comeback in the last 30 seconds for a touchdown win kind of thing. And do you think Jalen Hurts has shown enough to this point to be the franchise quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles? And therefore, his card prices should continue to go up into the draft and into next season because he will be kind of touted as their franchise QB on one of the biggest markets in the NFL.
I think that they'll definitely make a point to anoint him in the offseason. But I think that the thing that'll be the most, even more defining than that will be just him having a nice game against Tampa, who does occasionally give up big games to quarterbacks. So I think that, win or lose, as long as he has a good game, that his card values will propel, even if the Eagles were to lose. I saw that fake Kaboom card there. You just scrolled past.
This one, or no, that's someone made
The orange Burrow one that was like a custom card.
They sold it for $500, dude. I think, dude, this is a new business idea for somebody out there, man. You guys start making your own kabooms. Clearly, there's somebody out there.
That's a base select card. Yeah.
Check it out.
Don't get me. Hey, I'm not hating the game. Not hating the game, man. Good for that guy, but that's just strange.
That's wild, man. It's hard to even tell how he did it. He looked like he did it with like acrylic paints and different stuff. You wonder if cards are all about aesthetics. I mean, this is a pretty cool looking card. However, $500 worth, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it could have just been that the buyer didn't know any better. I don't know. But does it look cool? Yeah. Is it worth $500? To me, no. To someone else, maybe it is, though.
What do you guys think in the chat about $500 for this custom 1-of-1 Kaboom? Shout out to Nick. What's good, man? Ryan J. Appreciate that, Ryan J. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. Will, what's good, man? Raven Invest in the house. My co-host from the Comp Kings. What's up, man? Andrew Perry, man, the Bostonian. We got some Patriots fans in the house. Uh-oh. Nick saying the Pats offense is not as powerful as the Bills. They only won that first game because of the weather. What's the weather going to be like in Buffalo this weekend?
Let's take a look.
That's true. Blaine does. If you guys are interested, Blaine has a Blue Scope optic rated rookie Justin Herbert for sale. I think he's selling it for about $100. Seemed like a pretty fair deal to make offline. If anybody is interested, Nick says Joe Burrow is Mr. Clutch. He has been Mr. Clutch week 16, week 17. I'm kind of wanting the commentators, the critics to start talking some more trash just to make sure that chip is back on his shoulder. So he goes into this weekend with that chip on his shoulder and plays like that.
Andy, the Patriots game, is that a Saturday or Sunday game?
The Patriots game, I believe, is Saturday night. I want to say. Let's check it out. Let me pop over here to pick them. If you guys haven't got signed up for this, there's another special again this weekend. But using promo code Quest, if you're a new user for Underdog Fantasy, you get 100% instant deposit bonus, guys, up to $100. You can put in as little as 10, get an instant 10. And what's so much fun about these pick'ems is you can make these over-under bets on a single player. You string a few of those picks together, and then all of a sudden you're turning $5 into $100. I have hit on 3 of them this year, but I've lost like 10 or maybe 15 others. I got lost track. But, the thing is you get like 3 or 4 of them right, and it's like how bold and daring do you want to get? Stringing 3 picks together is not so hard. Stringing 5 picks together becomes a lot more challenging. And it's not always the over that you want to pick. You want to go under. Like this one right here, Derek Carr at Cincinnati on Saturday at 4:30, 5.5 rushing yards. 5.5 rushing yards, Steve.
That's an interesting one. I personally, when I was looking these over earlier, I decided to go with the Carr over on the passing instead. The secondary for Cincy is probably their weakest point.
Their vulnerability, right? You got Trey Hendrickson on the line. They got a pretty stout defensive line and linebackers. I think the secondary, and plus Joe Burrow on the other side, potentially lighting them up for 500 yards, right? I mean, you got to see this game turn into a shootout. Darren Waller's healthy. Brian Edwards, Hunter Renfrow has now become somewhat of a Cooper Kupp to Derek Carr there in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's a Saturday night game. So you go down here to Buffalo at home hosting the New England Patriots, and this is a Saturday night game. We got 284 yards for Josh Allen against that stout New England defense. Pretty good secondary. We know we were talking about C.J. Jackson, Steve, earlier this season about how he's got the second most interceptions in the NFL. He is a Patriots defensive back. You can go try and look up some of his rookie cards. Very difficult to find because he went undrafted or like drafted in the 7th round or something.
I did look at the weather. It's going to be single digits for that game.
Awesome, man. Shout out to Legit Rips. He won $300 on Underdog last week and used the promo code Quest. Awesome, man. That's fantastic. Love to hear it. Shout out to Legit Rips. And Andrew Perry had a side bet on a best ball league. He's got to figure out who won. He had the Gabriel Davis out of 75 field level tricolor on the line. Speaking of a sleeper right there, how do you feel about Gabriel Davis this weekend? He's not on the slate here for the pick'ems, but that just means that either too many people bet on him or Underdog feels like it's too frivolous of a bet. What's your feelings about Gabriel Davis?
With it being that cold, I could definitely see yet another run-heavy script for both teams. But Gabriel Davis is, I still think, a pretty good sleeper. I mean, there are more people investing in him now than there was, halfway through the season. And I do think he'll kind of become more of a mainstay in that offense with Emmanuel Sanders kind of aging out and not staying healthy. So I think that if you can find a good deal, he'll probably be around and maybe even eventually morph into, Josh Allen's favorite target.
Oh, yeah, man. And with the scarcity of a card like a rookie ticket auto with on card, color match their background. I mean, look at that, dude. Sold January 10th. I mean, January 10th. Let's look at the original list. I want to see 11:30 p.m. All right, so somebody ended this auction a little late, but for $9.50, this is a card that I just recently sold of T. Higgins that I also bought on the low back in October, November, and sold it for like 65, I think. So $10. I mean, would you say that's a snipe?
That's a great snipe, man.
Confirmed.
That was a long distance snipe. That wasn't even.
It's a long distance right here.
Yeah, I think that any skill position player of relevance, if you can get it under $10, that's an automatic win, in my opinion.
Automatic. The old Cole Beasley.
I want to see. Maybe you could put your skills to the test live. Can you hear me, Andy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm looking at a card about buying. I don't know a lot about it, and maybe you could give me some feedback live here for the audience, and maybe some advice if I should buy it or not. I got about 18 minutes to make the decision. So, we talked about Russ and about investing in him, which I'm doing right now. It's a 2021 downtown. Now I've never bought a downtown. I bought my first stained glass last week. I don't know a lot about the card, but I can't seem to find any consistent pricing on it. The numbers are all over the place.
Yeah, so this is a veteran card, and it's out of the recently released Donruss set of 2021. I'm just curious to see, because I think if we're comping veteran cards, looking at sold out, they don't even have 2021 on here on ComC yet. Let me go ahead and sign in here. And wow, okay, so not a whole lot there. I wonder if we just let's see, 2021 downtown, because I mean, I would think I would compare it to another really good quarterback that's bound for the Hall of Fame. Like, can we compare it to, Russ is not in the playoffs, so that's a challenging. Who could we compare that to? That's kind of I'm sure they made like a 2021 downtown Drew Brees or something, right? They made
a Stafford, maybe.
Yeah, Stafford, but you see he's in the playoffs, so a little bit different. But I think, they're only a couple years apart. Similarities in terms of Stafford does have a higher Hall of Fame marker. We definitely would have to comp it to another veteran player in the same set recently, 2021 downtown. I'll probably pull up your card. I mean, but Dak, yeah, I could see that especially with him being in the playoffs. There's a Drew Brees 2021 for 150. Matt Stafford.
Wow. Fields, man.
Yeah, I'm not a crazy big fan about the artwork on the background of this Fields either. $1,000 price tag on it. Let's see what they accepted for it. I think that if you can buy that card, if you can buy that card for somewhere around 100 to 150, you'd be sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I'm thinking the price where it's at right now is kind of like a little bit towards the higher end, but it would be something I would probably want to send in, probably a SGC. Have it ripe for the beginning of next year.
Yeah, the same thing with Justin Fields here. This is undervalued, man. I like the prospect of investing in Justin Fields this offseason. Kind of like the way that he ended his season. It's good for us investors of Justin Fields this offseason.
Yeah, it's
be able
going
to
to be.
snag him up for low.
It'll be curious to see who they put in the front office to kind of get things going.
That's going to be massive. Have you? I know you guys are doing interviews. Todd Bowles. I'm sure you guys got some other candidates there. Haven't really.
I know that Leslie Frazier's name's been brought up, but my dad being a huge Vikings fan, I'm not
Oh.
familiar with Leslie Frazier. I don't really want a defensive specialist as a coach anymore. We need someone that's going to build a quarterback.
Hey, yeah. Have you looked at any new Mosaic product? I am curious to look at Mosaic product before we.
No, let's take a look because it's actually the 2020 was one of my favorite sets.
2021 Mosaic football. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, it's jumping up there, man. You got 5,152 listings. I'm probably gonna have to type in. I have seen the straight fire insert. I like that. Let's just go a little Najee Harris, maybe some Mac Jones. There's a base. There's a silver prism. NFL debut.
What's your take on the case? The cost of the hobby box for Mosaic.
What was it, like $800 and something?
Yeah, it was somewhere around 850.
Well, I think it's too expensive.
I mean, you're talking about
Unless you,
10 packs of cards, right? And I get it that there's one pack boxes that people are spending sick money on, but at what point is enough enough?
yeah, what point is enough? But also, unless you're breaking it, like you're breaking it, you're running it as a business. The chances, I guess, you just has to have a lot of entertainment value baked in for you, because sure, it's fun, but the chances of you paying off, um, especially if you don't immediately flip the good players out of it, because I see the comment here from Nick. The release of Prism has been postponed to mid March now, and so we still have no release dates for Optic or Select. Prism's been delayed, and so it's really now Mosaic and Donruss, and you have a couple other ones, but like talking about big brands, you know, I mean, Absolute, besides the Kaboom, that's not a big brand. Rookies and Stars, that's not a big brand, So, I mean, there's very few and far in between major sets right now. I think that Mosaic will be flippable in the short term until we get Prism, Optic, and Select, but not any more so, I don't think, than Donruss and the rated rookies, especially on the base stuff. I think that rated rookie logo still carries more weight.
Yeah, I think that I've learned my lesson in a mere half a year on buying product, and you're better off just targeting players that you want and waiting till the product's been out for a little while, because when and if Optic and Prism come out, you're going to be able to pick up the Mosaic stuff for half of what they're selling for right now.
Yeah, I mean, check it out. This is what blows my mind. Like, I was buying Joe Burrow base Mosaic cards when they were first released for around $20 after the first couple weeks. And that's what the Jamar Chase is at right now, Steve. It's just that total perception of scarcity, and people just got to have the newest, hottest thing, not realizing that the market is going to be flooded with these at one point or another, because there's going to be so many choices at the end of the day. This time next year, there's going to be so many choices for Jamar Chase. There's going to be 250 different choices. And that's when the strategy has got to to come alive. That fine tuning, like finding the market inefficiencies of the perfect combination between, scarcity and eye appeal and the whole 9 yards, the autograph, the serial numbers. Um, if they were to do some game worn jersey patches, that would be nice.
I think the cards look great. I think that it might take a couple years for the hobby to really embrace mosaic as like a core set, and it's kind of like an awkward time where we have fanatics getting into the mix. Are they going to change a lot, or are they not going to change a lot? Are they going to remove sets, add sets? So it's kind of interesting. I personally really like 2020 Mosaic, and no matter what happens at the end of the day, 2020 Mosaic is a first year set. So that's one thing it's got going for it.
Yeah, it's that COVID baby, that right, the product that originated in the sports card boom, the modern sports card boom after the start of COVID. It has a very interesting story. I think you're right. I think it will have some appeal long term. It does have very nice designs, rookie card logos, things that we like. It's just, I'm all about, from the investment angle, I'm all about buying what other people like, right? For me, my personal collection, yeah, that's when it's strictly just like, oh yeah, that red cracked ice, that's so fire for Bucks players. But if I'm investing, I'm thinking, what are other people? I'm putting myself in other people's shoes, wondering like, what do they like? Forget about me. What's the bulk of investors and collectors? What do they like to buy? Because that's what I want to invest in, so that I know when that player does get hot, boom, they go straight to my card first, or relatively first.
Yeah, you could look at it a lot of different ways. You could say that 2020 Mosaic could be a more of a long term hold, but with the right players, like some of those cards are selling for insane numbers, because you have the out of 10 or out of 20 golds, and you have the Genesises, and you have the Peacocks, and those ultra short print cards like those of, let's say, a Burrow rookie or a Herbert rookie are going for a lot of money. And I don't know how many different parallels they made for 2021, but the 2021 card babies that just got back in the game, or just got in the game, they're going to be seeing Mosaic for the first time, and I think the design looks pretty good.
you know this is where it really helps to watch breaks when they first come out, to like kind of get a feel for how many rookie quarterbacks they're pulling. Because with prices like this, if they're pulling like four base Mac Jones per box, if it's like if it's similar to like Absolute, where the base cards, they put a lot of base rookies in there. I mean, you could very well make your money on a lot of boxes back if you flip it immediately, like these people here. We're looking at these listings of Mac Jones. If you sit on them though, and you don't list them, like you list them at the beginning of next season, thinking that's the strategy for 2021 Mosaic, that's a bad idea, man. You got to capitalize, strike while the iron's hot on this stuff, like hot off the press, the perception of scarcity, new product in a time where not many new NFL products are being released, with all the other dates being postponed. Yeah, you want to flip this stuff immediately.
I agree. I think if you're buying 2021 Mosaic right now, you need to do one of two things. You're either going to rip it and flip it, or you're going to keep that sealed wax, and and hope that you know imagine having a sealed box of rookie year Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers, or somebody from this draft class is going to potentially be the guy, potentially. So some people think that's Mac Jones, some people think that that's Justin Fields, but high end sets like that, I mean, if you're spending $600 to $800 on open product, it's not unrealistic to think that you could double or triple your money in 2 or 3 years.
True. What do you think about these blue chips?
It's an all right looking card. I don't know. I think it looks a little plain.
Yeah, a little plain for me. I'm not crazy about it. I do kind of like the base design. Like that. That looks good. I like that base design. They incorporate the team colors. I see. This is an interesting thing because I know at the end of the day, this NFL debut is going to be devalued because it's considered an insert. However, looking at the photo variation, I like this photo better than this photo.
I agree, and that's the top photo is just the same photo they used on the optic preview, I believe.
Oh, those lazy.
Hmm. I'm 99% sure it's the same picture.
As the optic preview. Let's check it out. But that's the thing. Like, it's really going to take a lot of people to just completely commit to that one. And I've seen other 2020 athletes that had the NFL debut as a better photo, but still, it was considered an insert that was just about printed as much as the base card. And it's like it devalues the insert. The point of the insert should be that it's short print. It should be more of a chase card, but and they added a bunch of parallels, and that's part of the gray area, the very complex, interesting area that takes a ton of legwork to decipher, right?
I would like to see inserts come back as like something that people want, right? When people are hoping to pull a base card over an insert, I think that that's kind of a problem. I think that that even defeats the purpose of even having an insert at that point. If you remember growing up collecting, you would flip the back of the pack over and you'd be like, oh man, 1 in 100 packs, there's one of these, or
Hmm.
1 in 50 packs, there's one of these, and the insert should always be more valuable than the base card. Now, I'm not saying the silver prism or the optic hollow, but I'm saying like the base card. It should definitely always be more by a lot.
It should be. Yeah, it should be. Except, in some sets, they've added 40, 50 different inserts, and they're like in almost every pack, you know? And
Yeah,
they
like
try and
the
go after the thing, like they try and get people to get, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like an illusion or a
I
mirage.
was
Like,
just gonna mention By Storm as my example because I watched a lot of breaks of that product looking for people kaboom hunting, and it was a By Storm, it was a Justin Fields, I mean, you can go and get any of these guys for like $2, $3. How is that, you know, what's the point of
people
even putting it? Why do you even put it in the pack at that point?
people gave these to me for free as buffers, fillers in an eBay purchase. Kyle Pitts, one of the best rookie tight ends ever, and Rondale Moore, explosive little speedster who's in the playoffs on Arizona Cardinals, and for free, just threw him in there along with like a bunch of other absolute rookies. Trey Lance. This was all free stuff in an eBay package. That's how common it is. That's how many thousands and tens of thousands of them there are.
I will say this, Optic and Prism have one major thing going for them. It's not just that their base cards hold a ton of value, it's that they don't have a ton of subsets. They don't have a lot of inserts. And that's good because people apparently don't care about them anyway. But the other is that the value in their cards is often through the serial numbered versions or the silver versions or the parallels. I have to say some of my favorite cards are the aqua optics out of 179, or the orange prism out of 199, or whatever it is. Like, they look outstanding. You know they're scarce because they're serial numbered, and when you open that card and you see orange, you know what it is right away.
Heck yeah, Blaine. Hold on to that, because the hit rate of Optic Hollows in that was much higher than any other year Optic has been around. And I would hold on to that because the quarterback class was so good from 2020. I mean, you got two guys that straight up look like they're going to be Hall of Famers in the future. Not to mention all the wide receivers. Are you kidding me? Right. And the running backs, that class, the 2020 class, skill positions, so deep in talent. There's even some defensive guys. Trayvon Diggs is in that class. Just right off the top of my head, I would hold that sealed, Blaine, for as long as you can. That's just going to continue to appreciate. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
I would 100% agree. And it's funny, the first thing I bought when I got back into the hobby in August was a box of Optic. And I would bet that even though I hypothetically overpaid for it on the secondary market, that it's probably still less than what you would pay for it right now.
Mm.
I think that there's just too many good players in 2020. Obviously, Burrow and Herbert being the marquee names, but there's so many good players in this class. It would be advisable to definitely hang on to it.
All right, so let's hop in. Let's hop in a couple pick'ems here, because I saw the special one, guys. So just a reminder, if you guys are just hopping into the live stream, go ahead and smash that like button for us. Let the YouTube algorithm know that we are doing some card dog action. We're about to make some live bets on Underdog Fantasy. Of course, if you're a new user, use promo code QUEST and you get 100% immediate instant deposit bonus up to $100. This special one right here, Steve, is like crazy. They're basically helping you out get to money this weekend. One reception for Stephon Diggs. Do you think he hits it?
He needs one receiving yard. They're basically giving you a little kick in the pants towards the 20-time multiplier. So that's about as free as they come right there.
Say what?
That's about as free
That's
as they
definitely a
come.
freebie.
All right.
I mean, the only way he doesn't get a yard is if he doesn't suit up. I mean, that's really it.
We got to make this one count, man. We're getting the over on Stephon Diggs. From here, you saying Derek Carr passing yards 257. Now, this is interesting. He has not hit that in the last 3 weeks. He didn't hit that. He didn't hit that last week against the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't know. Chargers are pretty good in the secondary. Their run defense is their whole, which is the inverse of Cincy.
I want to look at his like percentage of passing yards hitting it, because I know there's been plenty of times earlier this season when he's been well over 250 yards. Weeks 1 through 3, week 6, week 7, week 9, week 10, 12, 15. So he's right there. I mean, I think you're right. I think he goes over in this game as well.
Yeah, this is for both teams, obviously it's a must win. It's a one and done. If you lose, you're out. And he is going against a weaker secondary. So you have to look at it a couple different ways. If Burrow continues his air raid and starts putting points up early in the game, they're going to have to throw. There's no way about it. So that would only, hypothetically put him in a position to maybe hit the over on that one.
So what do you think about Burrow? So he's been all passing, right? All passing. Well, he has had 10, 11, 25 yards of rushing. I kind of like this 9.5 yards rushing. I do want to real quick check on his knee. I know he said it was not an issue. I have not checked on the update. The fact that I haven't heard any news is probably good news. Yeah, he's able to practice in full all week, so he's good to go. Joe Burrow, he plays with no fear. Steve, are you feeling the rushing or the passing over or under? What do you got?
Man, I don't know. I'm not usually too bullish on taking rushing totals for QBs, unless they're QB like designed run QBs like Hertz. The 265, I mean, it seems pretty safe in my opinion, especially when he's on such a hot streak. I mean, I would have taken 265 in the middle of the season on Burrow, so I don't see a reason why he couldn't do that again. And I mean, didn't Jamar Chase have almost that many receiving yards last week too?
Yeah, Jamar Chase's his receiving yards against Kansas City 266, 26 last week. Just out there, just enough to get that record. Just wanted to get that receiving record. So for the Bengals, I kind of like this Joe Mixon anytime touchdown here. One touchdown. I feel pretty safe about that. Either that or the receiving yards. I think Joe Mixon on the receiving or the rushing touchdown here is pretty safe. I'm definitely feeling this game in terms of over under and it turning into a shootout and just both teams being able to put up points throughout this game.
Mixon does vulture a lot of touchdowns, but if you look at the better Burrow's played, the fewer touchdowns Mixon has scored. So I am a little bit nervous about the Mixon scoring, the touchdown scoring one. It'd be easy to rip an over on a guy like Waller, but if you look at what he's done the past 5 games, I think that maybe Waller could be an under. He just hasn't shown up, and I really don't think that he's healthy or that he will be before the until next season.
Yeah, fully so. So what's the play, man? He's smashing the over on that.
I on my personal one, I did under on the Waller and over on what's this friggin' name? On Higgins, Mr. T Higgins.
Dude, Joe Burrow does take a lot of sacks sometimes. I mean, he's got one of the highest sack rates in the league. Yeah, I put Af a Lamb. Shout out to Af. I don't know what he's doing, but I put him in timeout for 5 minutes. Hit the like button, Af. Go buy you some Jamar Chase rookie cards and hit that like button.
Yeah, no, the Mixon to score a touchdown is not a bad bet. It's just he is on a bit of a drought. And you kind of sometimes got to ride the hot hand, in my opinion, and that hot hand is Burrow right now. So I think that T. Higgins, by default, is going to have a good game because what team's going to let Jamar Chase go out there and scorch them again like that?
This is a T. Higgins game, isn't it?
I think it is.
Definitely. Go over on T. Higgins. I think under on Waller, huh?
He hasn't done a lot. I mean,
No.
trust me, it's with sports betting, it's hard to hit under ever, right? Unless it's a guy that you don't particularly like or definitely sucks. But it's hard to hit under on a guy that has that kind of name recognition. But look at his last 5 games, and it tells the story. He's not quite all there yet.
So if I do that, then we've strung 5 picks together between the digs and this one game. Are there any other picks out here that you like even better than that?
Let's see.
They got Philly and Tampa Bay on here.
They
You
do.
know,
I like that Gronk bet a lot, honestly.
oh
Over.
yeah, that Gronk bet looks real sexy.
I mean, he is effectively their number one wideout with all these guys out. So
In terms of yardage, you're right. In terms of yardage, Mike's been getting the TDs, but hey, that can always very easily turn to Gronk's way.
yeah, 57.5 seems like very, very achievable.
Ooh, 57.5. And then I see this one as well. Jalen on total yards, 248. That seems pretty low, man.
He somehow failed to top that against the New York Giants, though. I don't know.
Hey,
And it's his first playoff game, is it not?
it is. And the thing is, what kind of play calling are they going to cook up for the Eagles? That's a big factor, man. Also, what's the injury status on Shaq Barrett? I'm assuming the same thing, like no news is good news, which is good for me. Let me check out this injury status here. Shaq Barrett is questionable with the leg. Okay, well that's good. He's not IR. I think that means he'll end up playing. I think Leonard Fournette is going to be back this week. I know they've got him on IR, but he's been resurrected. I know it's not the R doesn't mean resurrected. I think that means returned from IR. But more or less resurrect. He's going to be resurrected. Lombardi Lenny is coming back this weekend.
That's pretty huge. I don't know that I would bet on Fournette, but having him back will definitely help.
I actually am really liking the over on Fournette. I'm liking the over on it because they're gonna lean on him. And dude, he's been out, so he's not in the Eagles film study. He's not gonna be in much of it anyways, and they're not gonna be planning for him, and he's superior in both rushing and receiving than Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn. So I think if he's healthy, he's a full go. I think we're going to lean on him big time, and he's probably going to get 7 to 8 targets. He's probably going to get 10 to 15 carries, and I think he hits that 96.5, no problem.
So do you think he was being held out as a precaution and that he's 100% healthy?
Absolutely. Yep. Just like I think they did that with other players. I think that was the plan with AB, but I don't know. That's a whole nother animal.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely is a little bit appetizing. I still think that the Gronk over is a little bit safer. We know he's healthy. He's been putting up huge yardage week in and week out with these other guys out.
Yeah, that's true, man. I think that the take on Jalen Hurts all over the place. That's the one thing, man. Jalen can run, and we got gashed up by Josh Allen. And because when we try and blitz, that's like cue for the running quarterbacks to just dart up through the pocket, and find that hole and take off. Shaq Barrett coming around the outside hot every play, JPP. And then we bring in Levante David, man. It sets up for running quarterbacks to gash us up pretty good at times.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Hurts might have a good day, but I don't necessarily want to gamble on it just because Tampa can they give up a lot of yards to QBs? Yeah, but we're in the playoffs now. Everything's different. These guys are very experienced. Most of the guys on the Eagles are not, as far as playing in the playoffs. It's in Tampa. I think it's going to be. It could be very one-sided. I'm not saying it's going to be, but
What's up, Angel? No doubt, legit. And this game could be one-sided. This could be a good game. We're kind of planning for obviously the Raiders at Cincinnati to go over. T. Higgins, Derek Carr. I'll tell you, this Derek Carr over here on the passing yard has got me more nervous than any of my picks so far. That one's a shoe-in. But I could leave this one at the money and then do a new one, you know?
Honestly, there was quite a few bets that I liked on this sheet, and we also have more selections than we've had the past couple Thursdays. So I actually did 2 5-man pick'ems myself.
Mac Jones, 0.5 interceptions Saturday night. Do you feel Mac
always,
Cheese?
I'll say it every week. It's always a good bet. It's always a good bet.
He's got to throw a pick in this game, right?
The only thing that I'm worried about this time compared to their last matchup is it will be single-digit degrees out. So I don't know how much that's going to affect the. Last time we had
the Patriots are going to go in there with that ground and pound Mac Jones 2 passing attempts game.
I don't think he's going to throw 2 times, but I definitely think they might limit the passing if it's that cold. I don't know. Maybe they'll deflate a couple footballs and he'll air it out. We'll see what happens.
Side bet Steve for Jalen on the over. Deebo Samuel over 89.5.
There's a lot of good ones. I think you should do 2 sheets like I did.
Yeah, I got to do 2 sheets. I got to pick one. I'm gonna go with Gronk on the over. That one feels really safe to me. I don't know why. If it's a bad mentality, this is my first year doing player prop bets like this, so I don't know if it's a bad mentality to feel like you're making a safe pick or if you should be making bolder plays like you try and do in daily fantasy. Getting a 20x on this. I'm just gonna do. Boom. I'm gonna do some. I gotta do 10 on this one.
I mean, here's the thing: is at some point you're gonna have some that are less safe than others, right? It's just the nature of the beast, especially if you're doing 2 sheets.
Yeah, 2 sheets. 2 sheets.
But there are a lot of good, in my opinion, props out there right now. So
I'm going to go over on the Joe Mixon 18.5 receiving yards. That's literally 1 screenplay, 2.
I think that Patriots running backs could have a big day. And you know what? I normally would probably not say this, but the Devin Singletary bet's not bad either. If it's going to be cold and they're running a lot, I would normally never bet on Devils. I would normally never bet on him, but he's been so on fire lately. The only thing
that's 5 picks right there. That's a bunch of overs.
10 overs? You going 10 overs?
I am, but different players. So I'm going to do $5 on this one. I'm going to do another one. I've got to pick some unders. That's right. You called the under on Darren Waller. So let's hit that one. I think the Derek Carr rushing yards. Wow, that doesn't count sacks. I think Joe Burrow goes over on those rushing yards.
I think isn't there a whole nother game we haven't looked at yet? Still?
Probably.
I like it. Yeah, we got the boys.
Oh yeah.
Kittle has been ice cold lately too. I think Kittle on the under might be a good pick.
Yeah, Kittle at
And
Dallas
he might be lining up with Micah.
could be, man. Micah dropping in coverage about 30% of dropbacks. Now that's not his strong suit, but covering a tight end is going to be a lot easier for him than covering a skilled wide receiver. Although Kittle is the best tight ends in the league, he basically is a big as wide receiver.
Yeah, he's been really cold lately. I mean, compared to a few weeks ago when we were talking about him snapping off yards after the catch, he's been a completely different player.
Now is that due to quarterback play?
Probably. I think that's part of it, and then I think part of it is also that uh, they're really focusing the offense through Debo right now and the run game.
Yeah, because he's still on the field 100% of the time. I mean, they look at the snap share going all the way back to week 10, week 11, ramped up week 12. I mean, you're 90+% snap share. It's just a matter of targets. Week 18, he did have 7 targets, but he was only turned that into 5 for 10. Dude, that's brutal.
That's really
Um,
good. Yeah.
so low production remains puzzling. Dude, I was like when I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, this is a perfect spot for Kittle to go over, in my opinion, because he's due for it. He's had these bad weeks where he hasn't been involved, he hasn't been targeted, and then it was for all these little dink and dunk type plays. Now the Cowboys are going to be an interesting opponent, but I think that Kittle, especially with Trayvon Diggs covering Brandon Ayuk or Debo Samuel.
Yeah, the
I'm going over on Kittle.
rip it. Rip it. Yeah, I don't I mean, they must really be game planning for Kittle when people are playing the Niners, because to get 5 catches on 10 targets or 7 targets and only turn it into 10 yards, like there's definitely something wrong there. So they've got to really be game planning him and making the rest of the team beat him.
Zeke 55.5.
Oof.
It's
Do we
about
have
middle of the run.
is Pollard supposed to be back? Do we know?
Let's check it out. I hope so. Love me some Tony Pollard.
He is a beast.
Practicing in full. He will be back, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried to steer clear from betting on Zeke as much as possible this year. I
One
know
of these
55
guys is
and a half
going
is
over,
not a
though.
lot, but I mean, the numbers don't lie if you look at what he's done. I
One of
like
these guys are
I
going
like the
over.
KC.
Cooper.
Excuse me. I like the Pittsburgh receivers as better picks.
Deontay's got to go over if they're going to have any shot at winning this game. You got to think that Pittsburgh's just going to be peppering them with targets.
Yeah, and outside of the Honey Badger, they don't really have a lot going on back there.
So you think it's the deep threat and Chase Claypool? You think Ben's going to try and sling it deep? What do you feel in the game plan here at KC? They've been bringing the pressure, so I feel like the short passes, short and intermediate passes, Deontay are more likely. Probably what is going to happen. That 66.5. That's literally like 6 to 10 targets, and he's hit that. So I like that.
Yeah, I like that as well. And I would even say Big Ben over 222 isn't bad either.
Oh yeah, 222 that's pretty low. That's pretty low. This is his last hoorah, man. If you think that he's going in with the reverse psychology, he's going in guns blazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, this could be his last game on the field. I want to believe that, legit Rip said 5 picks. I mean, even if he throws 5 picks, he's going to throw for more than 222 yards, I think.
Boom. We got it. We did we did 3 sheets this week, but hey, you guys are just joining the live stream. You know what week it is, guys? It's wild card week. It's the playoffs, man. We got to go big or go home. Now, Steve, before we get out of here, give me your play of the week out of any of these guys going into this weekend. Give me a guy that we can look at their rookie cards because you think that they're a good investment, regardless of whether or not they win this weekend. It's all about where they're headed and how old they are and the whole team status and everything.
I know I've mentioned him a few weeks in a row, but I want to say Dak Prescott. And
Oh.
if you look at where his rookie card prices are compared to some other players, they are, in my opinion, way too low. And I'm not saying that Burrow's prices don't deserve to be where they are, but you can take an equivalent Dak card, and it's nowhere near, where the Burrow is. It's actually crazy. You can still get optic rated rookies of his non-prism versions for relatively cheap, for $40 to $60,
Wow.
and you can get optic hollows or the purple varieties. You can get those for around 80 to $100 still. So I think that that's very undervalued.
Very undervalued, man. I think that's not a whole lot more than what Derrick Henry's are selling at. That's a first year optic. Is the biggest market in NFL besides the Patriots and the Steelers. And you're telling me that his rookie cards are trading for the same as uh, Sir Derrick Henry? I mean, I know he's the king and all, but I mean, look at the optic value right there, 37 in auction, 37 buy it now, maybe a little bit less because the best offer was accepted. Are you kidding me?
I think that I think I've mentioned this in several other programs, but people in the hobby are quick to forget past successes, past trends, right? Everyone's thinking about what happened this week or last week or a week or 2 weeks ago. Before Dak hurt his knee, he was on pace for a record number of passing touchdowns that season.
Mm-hmm.
So, and these, as we know, you don't always come back the next year and just pick up where you left off, right? So he's got an amazing set of receivers around him. He's got a great defense. Um, whether they win the whole thing this year or not remains to be seen. But I do think they'll actually get further in than most people are giving them credit for this year. And if you notice, Dak's really turned it on the past couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, so much so that they've like benched him at halftime. And it is amazing that how quickly people are distracted. Their focus is shifted onto other younger players. And I think if he has a good game this weekend, his values are going to go up big time based on what I'm seeing here. This is crazy low, man. Crazy low. Way too low for Dak. Way too low. You're telling me his prices are almost the same as a running back. And if we were to compare it to other guys like 2017 guys, I mean, this is just crazy low.
that's why when we talked about it before the show, you should definitely be focusing on buying guys. At this point, you're probably buying guys for next season, right, as an investment. But there's exceptions. Look at the prices of Dak. You could even look at some of the prices of Kyler Murray. And the thing is that when there's enough good players all at once, the whoever the guy that week is gonna bounce around every couple of weeks, right? So use those opportunities. If there was a QB you could buy low in the playoffs, it's got to be Dak. I mean, I don't understand how his prices are that low. I've been able to buy some higher end Dak, and I'm working on some higher end Russ right now. But the difference between those two guys is Dak's in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make any sense that his cards would be that low. The only thing that does make sense is that people are riding the hot hand. They're buying the Burrow. They're buying the Herbert. And you have an elite QB in a major market team who's, a season removed from an injury. I don't think Dak's going anywhere anytime soon. And, the price of his cards right now are what you could have bought Daniel Jones for at the beginning of the year. It's not okay. I mean, if you're looking for a guy to get in for a good couple years or even for a year, Dak is, I think, the way to go.
Dak is the way to go. Big Ben is old and he does need to retire. I do agree with that. I do agree. But you never know, man. He's pulled some stuff out of his sleeve this year. You never know. Any given Sunday is wild card weekend. It brings out a different side of people. Dak, this is super defining for his career. They've got one of the best defenses in the league, top 3 defense in the NFL right now. And that's another reason, Steve. A lot of people are distracted. Cowboys fans are drawn to Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb. And that maybe that's where a lot of their focus is at. But I think you've got a big week here on the horizon for Dak, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, the whole offense, Zeke, Tony Pollard, the whole offense, man, and as well as the defense. I think they win, and I think you see a big increase. That's my prediction. I think you see a big increase in the Dak rookie cards because he's going to light it up.
He did just throw for like 5 touchdowns a week ago, so you got to remember that he was easily overshadowed by some of the other big games that were on, and some of these other QBs that are 2-3 years younger than him. I mean, as you can see, that if you're a good athlete and you're a good quarterback in this league, you're not playing into 35 anymore. That's an old number. You can play into your late 30s, early 40s now. It's health science has come a long way.
Yeah. Look at Tom Brady.
Say what?
Wow, that's a great play, man. I can't top that. 'Cause honestly, that's one of my plays. I think I've actually got him in a couple packages here. So speaking of that, guys, I will be back tomorrow with a mail day video. Got to get through some of these packages, some cards I want to list for this weekend. You got some listing to do this weekend, Steve?
Too much. But I'm going to just try to get it done in segments. It can be overwhelming if you have a lot of cards to list, I'm sure you know. So maybe focus on getting your Bengals and Raiders done before kickoff, and get your your Patriots and Bills done before that kickoff. And if you try to do it all at once, you'll lose your friggin' mind, because it is time consuming if you're doing it the right way. So just kind of don't wear yourself out, and just make sure you're organized, have your teams organized properly, and that way you can list them in a timely fashion.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Make sure you like the video. I hope you had fun hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you in that next one. Go Bucks.
That's right. Bears aren't in it, so I'm all in on the Bucks right now.
All right, there we go. I will take it, Steve. Oh wait, you're still here. Yeah, I
Oh,
made
shit.
some fun little videos for the live stream.
Say what?
That's when you get those auctions, baby.
That I still got a couple that I'll be watching the rest of the evening. So let's hope for some long distance sniping.
I'm gonna be making a lot more of these little videos to sprinkle throughout our live streams too. This is fun.
No,
My
that's
buddy, my
perfect.
buddy Brad over at Comeback Card Investors unlocked Pandora's box over here.
It's all over now, man. It's all over.
Oh yeah, entertainment value through the roof, people. Stay tuned. See ya.